Speaker, the Platform Workers Bill is a comprehensive, even exhaustive document numbering some 234 pages and addressing a wide range of legislative changes meant to unfold platform work better into the jobs landscape of our economy. Makes good faith efforts to improve the rights and protections for gig workers, and for that reason, it has the support of the Workers' Party. Others have already spoken about various other aspects of the bill, including enabling such workers to secure representation via workers' associations or union equivalents, along with accommodations for workplace health and safety. I will, in my remarks, focus on how the bill caters specifically to retirement adequacy of such platform workers, which is the principal component of concern of Part 8 of the bill. But for context, let me begin with a sketch of the economics of the platform economy. Digitally oriented business models have been with us for a long time now, of course, having risen to prominence in the run-up to the dot-com boom of the late 1990s. But it's only after the bursting of that bubble that we saw the subsequent emergence of both sharing economy firms such as Airbnb, Uber, and WeWork, along with the penetration of incumbent technology giants like Amazon, Facebook, and Google into such digital ecosystems. And that has ushered in the current generation of platform economies. The digital economy is now massive and will only continue to grow. Estimates suggest that by 2028, it will grow from the current 12 trillion to 17 trillion worldwide, accounting for almost a fifth of all global output. In Singapore, IMDA expects a comparable share of the digital economy in our GDP, with digital businesses outpacing the rate of growth of the overall economy. Yet, the platform economy raises intimate issues of concern for workers in particular. A recent study established that the largest platform companies have been able to churn out twice the growth, profits, and market capitalization that the largest old-school firms operating in the same businesses, all while doing so with half the number of workers. What is worse, while some founders and employees at the top end, think of the thousands of well-remunerated tech professionals, not to mention tech billionaires like Jeff Bezos, Jack Ma, and Mark Zuckerberg, have benefited enormously from the platform economy. Tens of thousands of others are barely eking by on precarious driving, delivery, and paid per gig jobs. The present bill limits itself to a class of workers providing on-demand delivery and ride-hailing services, operating on digital platforms. This, in my view, is an appropriate prioritization, given their relative share of all platform workers. After all, such workers also reside in an awkward intersection of regular wage-earning employees whose jobs afford sufficient structure for traditional labor protections, and the fully self-employed who understand the risky trade-offs of running one's own shop, but get to enjoy the potentially large returns to business success or the freedom of being one's own boss. Unlike the self-employed, however, most platform workers cannot decide on how much they charge, and many do not do gig work out of choice. They may be responding to, for instance, an unexpected job displacement or an inability to secure more traditional employment. The new classification of platform workers that will result from Part 1 of the bill helps ensure that workers in this intermediate no man's land will be extended proper labor protections. It is already somewhat belated, with jurisdictions such as the United Kingdom having recognized so-called Lim B workers in 2021, and the state of California having extended full employee classification to platform workers in 2019, although that has recently been overturned. But better late than never, although I would hope that the bill would also consider eventually extending coverage of the first schedule to another category of platform workers, those who contribute toward and are paid for their part in a crowdsourced task, otherwise known as crowd workers. This will include freelancers on Amazon Mechanical Work, Turk, or Fiverr, but also cleaners and handymen or performers that heavily rely on platforms to match themselves to work opportunities. Such individuals exhibit many of the same features of employment precarity that on-demand delivery and ride-hailing workers do. Of course, the experiences of platform workers within this group may well differ, depending on their motivations for seeking work and even the specific platforms on which they operate. While some are reasonably well off and choose platform work as a helpful supplement to their primary income, most are on the low end of the income scale and may suffer from significant income volatility, resulting in higher levels of job anxiety. Many have to go into debt to even get started on gig work. This has led some observers to criticize the claims that platform work fosters some special spirit of entrepreneurship as utopian thinking. The reality, instead, is that many employees engaged in platform work full-time live very vulnerable economic lives. The majority are bereft of health insurance or retirement plans or social protections more generally. The flexibility of gig work, often presented as a boon, is often a bane in reality, as workers often cease work once they have reached a daily target, which in turn erodes their long-term earnings capability. A significant number are young, since the higher starting salaries may prove irresistibly attractive relative to the alternative. But with limited career upside, lifetime incomes often end up lower than with conventional careers. Absent stronger incentives, a majority would either completely opt out or of contributions towards CPF or make only minimal contributions to keep their take-home salaries high. As a result, many platform workers fail to squirrel away enough money to support themselves later in life. Yet there's some evidence that platform workers may actually favor mechanisms that can help them commit somehow to increasing their savings, although this is of course tempered by a concern that the possibility of their take-home pay would decrease as a result. This is why it is vitally important to ensure that platform workers have access to a pension plan. In Singapore, this typically means enrolling in the cornerstone of our system of retirement provision, the CPF. Now, to be clear, the Workers' Party has in the past offered measured critiques of the system. Notwithstanding these reservations, we believe that CPF goes some way toward providing for retirees during their sunset years, and hence has a role to play for platform workers as well. Consequently, the Workers' Party is in favor of the stipulations in the bill that will encourage such workers to enroll into the system. The proposed enhanced platform workers CPF transition support, or enhanced PCTS for short, embedded into the fifth schedule certainly offers a welcome alternative to encourage participation in the higher contribution Group A, at least up to 2028. The leader of the opposition, Mr. Pritam Singh, has further suggested that the default be set as opt-out rather than an opt-in regime. This has much to commend it. Behavioral scientists have documented how a bias toward the status quo, coupled with inertia, tends to lead individuals to stay with pre-selected defaults. This has also been demonstrated specifically when it comes to saving behavior. Hence, we believe if we believe that it's truly beneficial to nudge our platform workers toward greater saving for retirement, applying an opt-out default would be no less constraining of their freedom of choice while encouraging welfare-enhancing behavior. That said, as my honorable friend Mr. Louis Chua has already, and my friend Mr. Gerald Giam will point out, the scheme could nevertheless give rise to unintended consequences as well. Platform companies may tweak their algorithms to deprioritize job allocations for those who are contributing more to CPF, or they may choose to blatantly reduce the salaries of those who sign onto the scheme. Here, I raise the possibility of another possible unintended consequence related to how those under 30 years of age are automatically enrolled in Group A. Now, while I can guess at the government's motivation behind insisting that the young be automatically placed in Group A, it ensures that those who will benefit most from starting their retirement saving early do so. And as SMS Co earlier said, older workers may already have some saving plan in place. This may nevertheless inadvertently lead to discrimination against their hiring, since they are now also more costly. This may further exacerbate youth unemployment, which, like elsewhere in the world, is already more than twice as high as the adult unemployment rate. This concern has already been flagged by some of our younger platform workers. The counter-argument that suggests that the number of workers not on the scheme is likely to be small, and hence discrimination isn't possible since most workers would be covered, does not quite hold up to the data. Only a fraction of around 7% of platform workers are indeed below 30 years of age. And the belief that such a discriminatory strategy would not hold up in the longer run also does not address how a sizable group of youths could, nevertheless, face discrimination in the meantime. Nor should we be content with the claim that younger workers, being fitter, more resolute, or more efficient, are naturally more attractive hires. After all, we're well aware of the weaker bargaining power of employees with less experience in the workplace, which may well predispose them to accepting otherwise lower wages than they deserve. Now, one strategy to preclude this without throwing the baby of retirement adequacy out with the bathwater of potential discrimination is to ensure that the impending anti-discrimination bill, which last I heard is due to be debated in Parliament this year, includes provisions that would make such unsavory practices illegal. Notwithstanding the challenges of proving discrimination in practice that the leader of the opposition has pointed to. Separately, one is left to wonder whether the government's plan B what the government's plan B is should enhanced PCTS fail to deliver the sort of sign-up rates that we all hope for. After all, while the lock-in into Group A for older workers who exercise the CPF scheme option is assured by Clause 4, Part 3 of the fourth schedule, such inevitability may well end up discouraging workers from signing up in the first place. These workers will nevertheless face retirement adequacy issues, and hence it strikes me as valuable to monitor the rate of sign-up as well as develop a strategy for encouraging participation in the event that the enhanced PCTS alone remains insufficient as an incentive. Mr. Speaker, I will close with a practical suggestion. For platform workers that do enroll as Group A workers, it will be useful for the government to work with platform providers themselves to ensure the accurate reporting of earnings in much the same manner that employers are currently obliged to accurately declare salary information for wage-earning employees. This will facilitate retirement planning and submissions to CPF, but it may call for some automated transfer of aggregated monthly earnings data, since platform workers' earnings are transactions-based. These data should, of course, also be open to audit, ideally by a truly independent third party. Sir, platform workers are an important constituency of Sengkang, the GRC I represent. While I support the enhanced protections being made available to them, I, like my Workers' Party colleagues, caution against an excessively sanguine attitude to platform providers to the detriment of our hard-working gig workers. We must make gig work work for their retirement.